get everybody's attention. Welcome to our first meeting, and it's really hard to see so many people here. So I just wanted to just say that I'm Alex, also my Xander, when you meet me first. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming out. So I'm just going to hand it over to Connor for run our meeting here.
Yeah, so today, thank you everyone for showing up. Today, I think we're all here because we're very concerned about these resolutions to cut DART's funding. So I think right now 5 cities have passed them, but Garland and Richardson are like for sure on our sides, and Dallas, we don't know. We've heard some concerning things from some of their council, but so today we're just going to try to figure out some strategies on how to fight that. We're going to figure out the name of this group, what social media presence it might have, what group chat it would use, and I want to go over the structure. Since DART's multi-jurisdictional, it's regional. It's a challenge to maybe fight what some city councils want to do. So we're trying to create like some groups, and we're gonna have different people like that'll lead maybe efforts in Irving or Carrollton or Dallas. So that way, like, you know, people can call like the Irving residents of the group to communicate with their council, or the Dallas residents of the group communicate with their council members, you know. So that's kind of like what we're aiming to do.
You ready for the presentation?
Oh yeah, and one thing I also want to mention is that I think a lot of the goals of these resolutions is not actually to get the DART board to cut the funding. I'm sure that might be one way they're going about it, but I'm pretty worried that they're also just trying to get the legislature involved. So we have to discuss strategies for stopping that as well, maybe getting the cities to oppose that legislation or propose better, more pro-transit legislation. So yeah, that's my spiel.
So
Did you want to do the presentation or no?
Yeah, we'll follow the agenda. Okay. Yes, your turn.
Hi, I'm in Rita Rivera. I'm member of Board of Art. I represent the city of Dallas. I have to say, first off, I'm not here speaking on behalf of the board or on behalf of them. Here because previous to federal do that, it's very important. I'll talk about that in a second. And I want to do everything I can to help you guys accomplish what you're trying to do. Encourage you to do it. I'd like to, when you have issues that are controversial, oftentimes with the issues that are there's a voice for the home affordable construction, for your organized groups that show up, and they have a tremendous impact. And a good recent example was creating a spouse for fair housing that lobbied to get more money for the long back. And they were very successful. They weren't get they didn't get really that much, but they show them the city hall. They branded themselves and t-shirts. But that came up to the city hall, all green t-shirts standing up. It matters a lot. I can't say enough how important it is for you to be there, especially in situations when you have elected officials. Some of you guys can show a dartboard every now and then. That's fantastic. Somebody asked them, the side whether you're losing your time lobbying no, you're not. We use this. It is important. I'm very concerned that the people who are making decisions for DART, if we don't have to. Venue is pretty distant, sort of. It's way up there, and right now somebody thinks, well, yeah, let's get that money pick up because I've never really done it. So this is what's missing in discussion with you guys. Voice of the people who needed to use it. The right destiny to the decision makers. I spoke to Jenny, she's in charge of communications and community outreach. And I asked her to, I was trying to get someone today to kind of give you a brief overview of the strategy, and to answer the questions this week ahead of time. She was not able to get someone for this meeting. She promised to stay on that until your next meeting, and then be committed. Well, that's something to do with the it's fine line for her at West Virginia. You guys are following, we have to be careful with that. And I don't even give you a pinch of lobbying one way or the other, because your dark board is private, so they can, so that's what it's important to get the meeting to say that I'm here to speak for myself. But thank you for doing what you do. I trust you're on the stuff. The voice will be there, and I look forward to seeing what else. Check it out.
Myself. I'm Tyler Wright. Hi online, Tyler Rice. I wrote the agenda, so feel free to pop up and have any questions. If we're missing anything, either let us know out loud or talk to me right after. We can make sure it's covered.
Just a quick thing as well. If you do speak, can you speak a little up so that the microphone can hear you?
Yeah,
guys
sure.
as well?
So projecting my voice a little bit for our online friends. One thing to think about, this is our first general body meeting. So there's going to be a lot of setup and maybe not as much fun strategy just yet. But once we get the committees and kind of things going, that's where the action is going to happen, where we can create the group chats and everybody can speak freely and go crazy on planning. So this really here just to get everyone together and inform them. And then towards the end of this, we'll start getting more. So
I mean, we will discuss some strategy. for sure.
absolutely, yeah. Just that's part of today. I just want to know, you see all this organizational setup. It's just the unfortunate fact that it's necessary. So it'll help keep us grounded and everything. I've got nothing else to say unless anyone has any questions. Okay, all right, I think we have to move to the next section.
What's the name?
We've had a few good ideas floated.
Yeah, I'll pull up the Reddit thread that was posted. Does anyone have ideas off the top of their head?
I use the working title North Texas for better transit.
Someone write that down.
This is based on the.
Yeah.
It's already. There's also the candidates. Yes.
I don't have the specific thing, but I think it needs to be something specific to our mission. It needs to include something like maintain or keep 1% DART tax or equitable funding for DART. I think if we leave it too broad, like that, it doesn't really hone in on what our mission is.
Okay, yeah, I hear that.
Well, though, maybe in the future there could be other efforts the group pushes for once we're done with this, right? So,
I don't think the goal is to just push for this and then after this, no matter how.
but we will come up with slogans, and the
Yes.
slogans can be.
turn into something that lasts.
Right, the goal is to found something that will be advocating for, transit solutions for, DART, and hopefully we can even start working with, folks over in Fort Worth, for Metro, the TRE, stuff like that. So the goal is improvement of, DART, advocacy for DART riders. Just right now, the chief kind of existential threat we have in front of us is the sales tax.
So whatever name we choose, it needs to reflect that this is a grassroots organization. So I don't know, something like Metroplex residents for public transit. Make sure that it's residents, it's people on the ground. It's not coming from DART. It's not coming from any government. It's from us. So, yeah, or well, citizens, no, residents, better than citizens. It encompasses everyone. Something like that. So I don't know, that was my idea when I was studying that.
So that was Metroplex residents for
Public
for
transit.
public transport. I like that one. Anything else?
Also, I actually really like North Texas for better transit. I think it's great the way it combos with Common for better transit. And I think it's pretty much spelled out. I think we are North Texas and we're lobbying for better transit. I think we got it.
I also agree with what he's saying here as well. Honestly, yeah, I guess North Texas would be better deferred as well.
If I may, if only for some bit of an alternative, playing as a devil's advocate. Earlier, there was a sort of preliminary meeting with a much smaller group floating this idea and deciding whether we should do this or not. And one name that was suggested then was Dallas Area Transit Coalition, something like that. With a name similar to existing groups like Dallas Bicycle Coalition, Dallas Housing Coalition. That's sort of the other way we could bring the name, but I'm not necessarily saying.
I think we should put in it that's not too now.
Just popped into my head is the laziest compromise, simplest compromise to find. I think the North Texas Transit Coalition offered up a nice ring to it. Fine.
My only hesitation with DFW or Metroplex or whatever is that we're following the dark ends, which don't include parent flex and most part, I don't think, or, so like Dallas area makes sense to me, but if it is to Dallas, like, I don't know. But if you say we're the Metroplex group, then we're not what we're. We're the DFW group, and we don't include our things.
Yes.
So how about a show of hands if you live in Dallas and a show of hands if you don't? Just out of curiosity.
So you live in Dallas.
Yeah, raise your hand.
County or city? The city.
Just to see who's here. Okay, I heard that about half.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you do not live in Dallas, raise your hand. Okay. Okay, so
Just how many of y'all live outside of the outside of a dark city? Okay.
Yeah, I think
Oh, kind of a follow-up question then, since there's so many that live outside of the dark city. I'm curious to get some feedback on what your vision is. In other words, why you came today, what you'd like to see, maybe.
I mean, I just want to point out real quick, while a lot of us will be speaking to council, people who are not in the service area, they could still help make flyers or, do all sorts of help, maybe just communications, getting people on board. So there's still a lot they can contribute. Just want to point that out.
And I mean, I think that, even if you live outside of a dark service area, it could still be a dark right, or if you commute into, Park Road Station and take the red line south, you live in McKinney or something.
Dark riders count.
So I do think that it'd be good to encompass the North Texas nature of it.
as someone who does live pretty far outside of the dark system, I still think that right now we are looking for being pro-dark. So dark, it's in their name, Dallas area. So even though we don't necessarily need to just be, Dallas transit coalition, that would be great specific. I think something to the effect of Dallas area, la la, or something vaguely encompassing that part of the Metroplex. That's fine. I think.
I mean, me and Alex, we're both outside of the area. We're from Frisco, and we both looked our in. And I mean, we live on the border of Plano, so we do have like a certain we can use Plano buses and stuff like that to get all around the area.
And like as you said, Connor, especially when it comes to like all these transit options and future transit things that Frisco, like I don't know if that's like the Frisco urban corridor, that's like potential possibility. Like we have interest in like wanting to make that happen, especially as part of like the overall system.
We've also seen it somewhere like Denny. Like if ECTA tried to do the same thing Dart's doing now, like I don't know, Louisville, whatever, they give what sales tax, but they do give some. They do not have the same for this against that. You know, even Trinity Metro tries to do something silly, and like now we're in a decade, would we want an organization to be able to address that? Well, Dallas area, then why would we talk about support stuff? We're cutting ourselves out.
So I think the whole idea of like North Texas or like encompassing the entire area, that would be a really good like
Because like I'm from Denton, like BCT is my transit organization, but like if there is a cut in funding, that affects my ability because I have family down. It's like I wanted to go be able to take DART trains or buses to the airport, so that affects my ability to get around and stuff. So it's like even like in the TRE systems have the same deal. It's like it all sort of is connected in the way we do things. Like even if you just take the paratransit or on-demand service, that's still yeah.
Okay, so I got some names down. Here, can I pull them up? I was taking notes.
Which slide number is it?
Slide number 12.
Got it.
All right. So we can still add to the list.
That's so small.
Okay. Yeah, I wrote it down, but it's not.
Anything at this particular.
Oh, we're taking name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Campus kind of real center.
Okay, I'll cross it out.
You can just make.
Yeah.
So that way
Oh.
But it's not just the rails, it's also buses,
Yeah.
the on-demand service, the paratransit.
Yeah, sounds like
I have a couple names to throw in the hat.
Okay.
There's Dallas Area Transit Alliance and Dallas Area Riders Alliance. What I like about the Dallas Area Transit Alliance is because our acronym would be DATA. And I was really doing like domain name search and like Instagram handle searches. So Ride with Data is available. And like imagining if we show up to a council hearing or CDC or wherever, they say, I'm here with data. And we are the data. Like, we are the evidence that we need transit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's, I like it. I mean, you can do your area. Hard to say.
Yeah.
I like the idea.
I'll throw it out there that like I think that touches on perhaps a decision that this group needs to make is, do we cover in our focus all of DFW, or do we say we set that this is because DFW is massive, like it's really hard to be everywhere.
8 million
But-
people.
Right, so maybe if we are Dallas area, but we encourage, like maybe this group of in Fort Worth, we can set a blueprint for Tarrant area, so Tata or whatever they end up. And I think it would be more efficient if like someone, change comes from within, right? And so if we have some, it's still a large scope, but if we have some scope that keeps us on this side of the Metroplex, then that would leave space for leadership for those other areas.
So the other thing I want to caution us about when it comes to an organization about specifically Dallas, one of the, like if we go and expand our volume to the suburbs, right?
one of the big sticklers is that, oh, you don't want to control my doubts or something like that. We don't want to be identified by doubts. So that's why I like the North Texas better. Yeah.
I agree with that. Sorry.
Yeah, Brenda had it like that.
Oh, so I've heard some good arguments. Is the plan to like send these out and then do a vote via Google Form or something? I just want to be mindful of time because
We can make a straw poll. First, real quick, before I create the poll, are we happy with these names?
I think we might be able
I
to.
think we should, some of these, I think, work better as slogans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say don't shoot North Texas for better transit.
Better transit, better balance, should.
I think we go through the list, we take like a simple vote, if there's enough people who like support including it in a poll, we can include it in a
And actually,
future poll.
Yeah, okay, so from this list right now, why don't we just do like a simple like approval vote or getting it onto like the final poll, and then we can send out a poll later on.
Equitable for funding belongs in the slogan section. I'll move
Yeah.
that to slogans.
Awesome.
An approval vote means you can vote multiple times.
Yeah, so like, are you okay with this? Like, can you vote for as many of the ones that you like as you want?
Yeah, you're just voting for it to be on the list, not
Yeah,
necessarily.
just be on the list, not necessarily.
That's the one. The guy back there has one, which one was it called?
Metroplex residents, for public transit.
Yeah, I think that's solid.
The thing I'll throw out there also is keep in mind that especially the longer the name gets, the more likely that outside entities are going to rely on the acronym more. The thing about how we call it dark, like we don't go around in a conversation saying Dallas Area Rapid Transit this, Dallas Area Transit that. Like, yeah, but like it's going to be more known by its acronym than by the full official name.
Okay.
That's a good point.
So do we even put North Texas Transit Coalition on there? So close to NTTA.
That's a good consideration.
We did joke about calling it North Texas Transit Alliance once in the Discord. Like, I don't know if we want to be associated with them.
I used to work for a company called NTT Data, and for years, all my friends thought I worked for the tollway authority. Something to be careful. That is a real thing. Like if we get too close to something else, then they'll think we are that other thing.
A negative reputation.
So.
All right. So I'm putting these names on the straw poll, I think.
You know, I don't think we should do it right now, because I think not everyone.
Okay.
Here,
I guess-
think it's just there that-
We can still create the group and then rename it. Like if we create like a group chat or a Facebook profile.
I think that's the most important thing to keep in mind is
Yeah.
if the aims of this group change, we aren't holding to our branding forever. Like we can adapt it. Our focus
Yeah,
is
I think I just really want to make sure. Oh, sorry. I just really want to make sure that a group is created so everyone can be notified and we can keep going. Okay. I don't have an agenda with me. What's that?
So next we're gonna just be discussing effects of the regulation. We have on there advocate them getting start funding during this kind of resolution. Are we clear on that?
Do we have someone doing online comments, by the way?
They just said thanks, that's it.
Okay.
Just scroll down on that.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so, yeah, we are right.
Sorry, there, whoops. There you go.
You're right, you're right. Okay, so, I guess are we all clear on like the goal in front of us right now? Which is advocating for our member cities all maintaining their 1 cent contribution. Sales tax. And yes.
Priority number 1, 2, and 3, right?
Yeah. Because if that happens, then like everything else becomes a lot harder. Okay. I think we are, yes.
You want me to kind of chat when you take notes there? That's easy. Okay, cool. Awesome. So yeah, we can open it up a little bit if anybody has any other ideas. Another thing I was thinking, if we table this for now, one of the committees could work on the objectives and we can all approve it together later. But I'm taking ideas if anybody's got it.
Oh, wait, ideas for,
Yeah, ideas for goals.
Oh,
Yeah, any goals you want to highlight.
So I think that the point of this organization shouldn't just be to protect DART's funding, protect the revenue that's coming into DART, because there are, like, eventually this initiative by suburban city councils and city managers will either succeed or fail, and we will be left with nothing else to rally around. I think that it's important to also have, and others have said this on this board, but it's important, I think, to have some sort of positive goals that we want to advocate towards, and some other things that we want to keep tabs on. For example, DART is going to be gathered in
Windows.
The machines are on us.
Look, Windows crashed like the entire world. Yeah. That was not back on.
So I think that it's, I think that, so beyond just the funding issue, I think it's also important for us to maybe think about what we want to see in terms of the DART's ongoing stories like affairs. I think it's also important to have sort of longer term goals in mind for what maybe some specific improvements we want to see in the bus network, even beyond just the 3% improvements that are already planned.
So actually, sorry, can I interrupt real quick? Yesterday, someone said, hey, this group should stand for something. Not just like protecting DART funding, but like, why are we protecting DART funding? So I jotted down 3 reasons why last night. Slide 2. And this is just like my first thought. I mean, I'm welcome to change these around.
I think that's 2.
Slide 2.
That's not 2. It's really hard to see. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. So, these are my ideas. Transit vehicles should never run on less than 30-minute headway. Rush hour schedule should be the all-day schedule, and like additional express buses to link together these new growing suburban drop hubs. It's just kind of some ideas I had at midnight though. So I'm welcome.
It permits the TRE.
Yes.
So like it's like a main. I just think more like because that would fall under a transit vehicle should never run less on a 30-minute headway, right?
Yeah. And I think these are great, like tactical goals. I wonder if we want to go just a bit higher. I know you've had your hand up for quite a while.
I mean, this is more of like not necessarily as flashy as like some goals, but really focusing on making sure you have a good like there's not everywhere is sidewalk coverage where you can get around by walking, because like you can get to a bus stop and then like then what? Like how are you gonna get to that last point where you go if it's not safe to walk? How many people have to walk on dangerous parts of roadways to get like I know up in Denton people have to walk along the ditches or on the shoulder, and granted that we pressure the city council to get like sidewalks there, but like that's one of the most important things. It's like it's not you literally walk on it and you don't think about it, but when it's not there you really miss it. So like making sure like pedestrianization,
like last mile coverage.
Yeah.
We can maybe add
Vision
last mile.
zero?
Yeah, vision, yeah. Jumping over this side. Oh, there's another pilot. Okay, yeah, you posted it.
Like this is kind of like specific and more like kind of working goals. Like I would want like I guess like one of the main reasons that I support everyone said I wanted to create like a more equitable like society, that like we shouldn't be forcing the grand majority of people to be rich on the car ownership, right? Because for an example, last year I sold my car and in January I moved to the town. And the only reason I am able to do that is because I'm able to start to get to work. I'm able to go to the office. A couple times a week, so that obviously helps a lot, right? But that's one of those things, right? Like, are better than more options. Right, and that creates a more society for everyone, right? It allows people to have that extra income to move to a nicer area. And get more opportunities.
Yeah, I also like to, I guess, just add that in a lot of ways, like having goals that also the city, the member city would probably get behind, as well as start getting behind, would be a great set. So things like maybe better than specifically around transit centers and stations.
Yeah.
Better bus stops.
So, do you know why I have these two goals on? Oh, sorry. Chris, do you know why I have these two goals up here? Because they're kind of already in the plans.
Yeah.
And this one has been talked about before. I've seen like draft maps of point 3. And also the other reason I have these 3 goals is that they're all only possible if we maintain dark.
Super light frequency.
Yeah, that's under 30 minutes. Excel?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these are, yeah, like,
I mean, right, like cities.
they have to work together.
I think that's.
Yeah, and it's also like back to the funding, like part of the reason why people thought cities are so supportive of cutting right now is because they haven't realized from just having because they haven't worked to create that synergistic land use that creates a lot of revenue. Because it's all part of it.
Agreed. Okay, there's lots of comments. Let's take a couple. I know, Enrique, you got something for us?
Yeah, I don't need to cut in the front of it. This point, there is a document, it is available online. It's published in 2000, it's DART's strategic plan. And it's a very easy, especially if you guys do DART. In the very first couple pages, it sets out the mission, the vision, values, DART. So some of this you're talking about here, like point 1, they actually have the aspiration of 10 by 10. So they think that everybody should be able to be within 10-minute walk distance to state the frequency of the taking the bus or the trail should be every 10 minutes. So this is not a goal for this year, because that's right. Like that as an example, it does something that could be helpful for you guys. I probably see it with it. I'll stop right for that.
I'm gonna take capital seated. Close this one out. Sorry, guys. We've got to move on. Once we get the social media set up, that's where we all start talking about this, and we can just ratify the official one later.
And for ag, transit-oriented development should be a big, well, I suggest it be a big thing because that's something that will be the next battle. Like, we were supposed to have, well, first off, there's many TODs that are happily making progress, but then an example of where it would be really wonderful to have an alliance together was 8th and Corin in District 4. There was a TOD there, it got killed. Like, we lost already a TOD opportunity. And if no matter what city it's in, that could be an opportunity for the alliance to come in, because that is also, if those, when those things pass, it's a win for everybody. It's a win for DART, it's a win for the city, but we need that collective group of people to come in and remove the stigma, bring the evidence, bring the data, let's play it again. But that's something that needs a lot of support, and I would suggest that.
Sorry about this, but we can also reduce the stigma of right as in EFW.
Yeah, that's a good one. Good high quality one.
So I need to interrupt real quick. He's asking for someone to potentially interview. Tyler, did you already do an interview? Xander, do you want to, or who wants to?
I just need 2 volunteers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be out here.
Okay. Thank you. So moving on to the next thing. So we've kind of talked about how it's a meeting facilitators. We're about 45 minutes into this now. So thinking about this just wanted to say, hey, do we want to keep kind of Connor and myself, Dan, are kind of just taking notes, guiding discussions for now, and then as we get to know each other, elect officers? Are we cool with that? Cool.
Yeah.
Because then we can just move right on. Okay, so we can mark that down. So maybe next meeting, maybe the third meeting, we'll still be kind of directing things, but we could start, getting elected officials kind of running this. Okay, so one thing I did discuss with Connor was setting up committees within the org to handle certain functional departments. So this would be something like outreach, social media, I guess traditional media relations, governmental body relations, people who are planning events, people who are planning things like that. So what I will say, do we agree on having an outreach and social media committee? Just a quick show of hands. Yeah, okay, cool. That will be one of them. Do we agree on media and governmental relations committee? Great. Do we agree on the event planning committee?
No. It doesn't have to be big.
Yeah, it's like two people who are just crazy about this sort of thing.
What do you mean events?
Like, just like kind of outreach events or socials or anything like that.
So one of
I don't Yes.
Good, John.
I want a graphic designer or two. So just people to make I want John to talk about this before, but he's handing out flyers at downtown Carrollton Station. I think we need someone to do that, like the graphic design committee.
Maybe that's under applicants of the weekend.
Yeah, that's under social media.
I think
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay.
Are there any more here?
Yeah, there's two more.
Fundraising and finance, I think we're a little early for that.
Yeah.
Because we're not collecting any dues. We probably should not handle any money right now. Yeah.
So you buy darts.
Yeah, right. Something to think about. Any other things that might be good?
Probably with the formal, I know you said that they do some kind of membership process, some kind of, ethic or resolutions, things like that.
Yeah, totally fair.
As a good, bare bones to start together. Things like that.
I don't think anybody is peer attention right now around here, but somebody who's do peer attention advocacy.
That's
for
very good call.
accessibility.
Very good. Yes, sir.
This is a little boring, but at least in the for the initial setup of this organization, but have somebody a rules committee that decides on how we're going to do this.
Yeah, I did call out on the first slide an executive kind of branch that might handle some of this
To
stuff.
establish bylaws.
Yeah, establish the bylaws and how to throw that out. So very good call. We're thinking about it.
Well, piggybacking on his point, what we could start with, a lot of committees start with a parliamentarian. So that's a single person who's just really smart about Robert's rules or whatever system of meeting procedure or structure that you want to follow. So I suggest maybe we could start with finding who's the Robert's rules nerd, right? Just finding that person, make them a parliamentarian, and then as we grow and find it necessary, then we can evolve into
I like that. Okay, so thinking about this, I think we all kind of agree, an executive committee, the social media committee, a media government relations committee, just to start thinking about this. So keep this list in mind on the agenda. There is a sign-up sheet here that I will place that I ask everybody who's interested in continuing with us to put their stuff and their committee interest. That way we can start making group chats. So we can all do that after the meeting. But if there's any committee you also want to suggest, go crazy. I mean, I'm not spell checking you in this field, so go crazy. That's all I have to say about committees. I'm open to closing this discussion now. Unless anybody has anything. Okay, so the next thing was a local reporter type thing. We've got people from most of the Dark member cities here. And that's wonderful. One idea we were talking about was putting some people to basically just kind of follow everything as close as possible and possibly give reports at each of these general body meetings about what our city managers and esteemed council members are up to. I just want to do this. Do you want to add names, things of two phrases at the end as I go through each city?
There's someone here for Addison.
Yeah, there's at least one. There's at least one person here for Addison. Yeah, at least a few people.
Sorry, I gotta go into edit mode.
Yeah, no worries.
Maybe you could do a Google form, where
Yeah.
you can sign up with the city.
Okay. So move that to Google form.
Yeah, so we there's quicker.
Or you can just write it on the side of the sheet.
Just curiosity.
Yeah.
Yeah, the field for city. Why don't we like, if you want to like sign up as like, I will be a contact for like monitoring the goings on in this city, or if you're in Dallas, this district of Dallas, thing. Just like maybe like put like an asterisk or something next to your like city name.
I mean, like,
Another site's another thing. I mean, I don't, we should probably have somebody being sticky contact info for everybody here.
Yeah.
The sheet over there. Okay. I missed it.
No, okay, okay. So, cool. I just marked put reporter if interested next to your city.
Okay.
And again, all these fields are optional. If you guys want to stay on the DL about where you're at, no worries. But if you do want to be a city reporter, mark it here next to your committee interest. Okay.
Yeah, and just real quick, maybe you also add either the same checkbox or a different checkbox for I'm willing to talk to the media. But then we could provide this kind of service or value to like whenever reporters come. Like, ooh, something just happened in Farmers Branch or about to happen in Carrollton. I wonder who some actual writers we could call and talk to.
I
Then
wonder,
they can reach out to us and say, who's your Cockrell Hill or your Garland people? And everything. Okay, here's people who signed up and say willing to talk. I think that's something that also our media and government relations that could also start.
Yes.
though, I would feel like they would delegate people.
Yeah, ideally they would kind of develop a strategy.
So if something like that happens, is there, before you let the local person talk, you would have to come together and have a one message.
Ideally,
strategy,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. You just want that local person to speak on behalf of the residents of that locality.
Yeah, where possible, I think that makes the arguments a little stronger, saying, hey,
Yeah.
I'm actually from here.
But we can't have, not to be, we have to control what you say, but just we want to be one message. We don't want to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then that is part of the strategy. So I think for now, until we get all that super solid, just text Connor or like one of us and just be like, hey, bro, somebody wants to talk to me. Okay, cool. Here's your talking points. And then, street research, say what you need to say. So what I'm going to do, put an R or reporter next to your city name, or put a star next to your name if you're either interested in being a local reporter for your city or talking to the media. And then we will consider that.
We did a start.
I could just pass it around. Yeah.
Your has been either.
Yeah.
I have one here too as well.
It's behind this. Yeah, they did pass it. So cool. Any other questions on local reporters? I'm ready to move on. We are.
so to clarify, does everyone know like what we mean by local reporters?
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, just like someone who keeps track of the going on and like Irving, like, oh no, Irving wants to cut Dart's budget, and then they can,
Preferably, you also attend city council meetings as well.
Correct.
Yeah, attend city, at least the relevant ones. You don't need to attend every city council meeting.
I will say it takes me roughly like, I don't know, 2-3 hours of a week, maybe just keeping up on everything happening in Richardson. So if you like don't think you're gonna have the time, you're very busy, or you want to do other things in your life, then you should consider how much time you're willing to devote to this.
Yeah, so that's why multiple discuss. Okay, couple closing comments, you said.
On the flip side, if one city has multiple reporters, then one reporter can focus on a certain type of transit. Maybe they only talk about train developments, another person will talk about bus developments. That way, it's the effort. So if you have 3 people from one city that are all each putting in an hour, that gets your 3 hours of information.
Yeah, really, really good call. And I think we can compare the individual city people, how they want to tackle that.
So I agree with that point. I like to like that. See if something. See if you need to put a lot of your. The third I have is that I on several different maps. One that we do. Is there anyone that has most
Probably this.
Well, we're gonna create one.
That's the next topic item. So you got ahead of us.
Yeah, it's like right now we're like on Discord and Reddit, but I wanted to create, like most of you saw this on Reddit, right? Yeah. I want to create I want to be able to grow this, and I want to be able to grow this to everyday writers too. And I feel like Discord and Reddit are not the platforms for that. Does everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
I think it's also different between like, like if I would reach out to someone, it'll probably be on Facebook, right? But if we're discussing in a committee, then I would much rather be on Discord or something than have Facebook messages between different people and be like discussing.
Yeah, let's actually jump into that.
Yeah. So, because, as I mentioned earlier, John was like handing out flyers at Carrollton, trying to get people to like email or show up to city council. I feel like it'd be really smart if we just had, right now I'm thinking a Facebook group that we could just direct people to, and then from there they get more information about like how they can communicate their against these dark cuts. So.
It's not on Facebook.
What?
I have to be on the specific strategy can probably be handled by the social media admin.
Yeah, you're gonna want basically be on pretty much every social media you can.
Okay, so we want to be on every social media.
And if we have a large enough committee, there could be a person who really has on Facebook.
So I think what we're going for. A lot of people are on Facebook. This audience might skew more technically focused. So like, yeah, exactly. So I think we're thinking about something we can like message on and kind of create like little side room. I think Discord's a great candidate for that. But we also have WhatsApp or group.
Instagram?
It's not for messaging, for general information and getting the word out, absolutely. But for like us
Maybe
talking.
X,
I
Y,
think the Discord's built out fun. We already have it all set up. We already have fun. If people on the Discord only already get to know us. Yeah. You're not joining Discord? What would you join? GroupMe? Yeah, GroupMe's a pretty easy one.
Like,
There's also Slack.
I'm not saying.
it costs like $6 a month per user. That's the only issue.
Oh, Slack does.
Yeah, Slack costs money, unless we're a nonprofit. We're a nonprofit, we can up to 250 users.
We need help with that.
It's just the idea. Okay, let's bring it back. You started that.
So we talked about this.
There is a free ride.
Talked earlier about this on Facebook. I just don't have already.
I think that's.
All right, so I might not look it, but I'm a little older. I'm in my 40s. But I made the transition from Slack to Discord. The moment I went to Discord, I was so confused.
Right.
So in terms of accessibility, Discord's great, but in terms of accessibility for everybody, that's not technically like, it took me like a month to like wrap my head around it for some reason. Like Slack actually does make sense for old brains like me. So I don't know, if you want more people, more of an age group, I'm not dissing Discord, but I'm just saying it just makes sense. Discord is very confusing for
We have an active, thriving community on Discord. I don't want to change that, but I want to I think we need a separate platform so we can just be like, oh, hey, we're at this bus stop recruiting people for our cause. Let's give them an easy group chat.
Or other committees.
I'll say this, the mobile app is a lot easier.
Are we going to rename the dark Discord to match organization?
Maybe possibly. We'll probably.
That's further.
That would be very reasonable. But yeah, we'll have to think about that.
We just have a link list because everybody in their mom is leaving.
Yes.
We're going to have that.
Yeah.
Well, because that would be for the broadcast messages and there's conversation.
the discussions.
So I think what we're trying to figure out is like what
I mean,
platform are like
So we're setting up like a whole Microsoft Google organization. I think that's the best solution to reach as many people as possible.
Are those group chats? Or is it like a? Oh, okay, yeah.
I think that the mailing list is good. I have a feeling GroupMe is the one everybody hates the least.
What about WhatsApp? I've never used WhatsApp before.
Yeah.
Someone suggested it. Is that fairly universal?
WhatsApp is typically used people who are not usually from America.
Yeah.
It's actually only popular. It's popular basically everywhere else except for parents.
Yeah.
You have families that's like.
It could be used for like national.
If you already have Facebook, I'm pretty sure it's like having. It's a good idea.
So what I'm hearing is Discord shouldn't be the only way. I don't think that should go anywhere. Wherever you guys- I don't think Discord should be.
Oh, I thought you said the opposite.
Yeah, no.
One more question.
Yeah.
Are we talking about for us to communicate?
Yeah, for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's already, everybody. Stuff.
Well, like we want to grow beyond this, you know. And I think the Discord server we created, it wasn't actually originally for an advocacy organization.
Yeah.
It's just that purpose got. How many people in here actively communicate on the Discord, and how many people get confused? How many people are active on Discord right now? Yeah, so you're all on the Discord. How many people aren't active on the Discord because you get flooded with notifications and it's too confusing? Yeah. So, but how much? Is it like $5 or is it like
$6.
If there's a paywall, then
per person? Never mind.
It's an enterprise.
The thing I learned all about Slack, they're actively disincentivizing groups like this using Slack. They don't want this. So,
I'll say that there's like a bot that'll integrate between GroupMe.
Yes, there is. There's a Discord group in British. Yes.
I like that.
Okay.
There you go. Take one and then.
Can GroupMe have like separate channels? Like, could we have like
Yes.
a Dallas?
Yes.
That's actually recent.
Okay, then hybrid mode.
Okay, I think we're going. Is everyone cool with GroupMe Discord integration?
But show of hands, who's here to use GroupMe before? Okay, that's.
Yeah. John, do you have something?
I think Facebook, it's almost no way to go for, I think we have this, but I don't think we should. Yeah, I think we should post like, hey, we're gonna do this. And you don't have to.
Well, finish your documents if you but they want.
Yeah, so last thing.
Should we call it X account also for like public?
Yeah, so all that's gonna come with the social media group. So we will have a presence on most platforms, I imagine, at the end of this. So what I'm hearing is WhatsApp, Discord, and GroupMe to kind of facilitate community conversations, intra-group communication. Is that good with everyone?
Yeah. And
Sorry. go ahead.
I do have a point that like, I'm not sure if we should be splitting ourselves on different platforms because if people want to join, like we want to reduce the level of barrier as much as possible. But like if we do something like Slack or like Slack competitors that allow us like Zulip and stuff, or even just a single Discord, that's gonna be more unified with all the people who do want to contribute. Because if you have bridges and stuff or you're on different platforms, you're gonna miss things on one
GroupMe
platform.
has Discord integration, right?
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, that's the game
Is it
changer.
built in, or do you have to like run stuff?
It's a bot thing, I believe.
But you just add the bot to the Discord server, I assume.
Like I would be ideal to have it all online, but it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, here's the thing. If I'm like, hey, join our group, we're on Discord. That's way harder to set up than GroupMe. I feel like GroupMe, someone could download it like that.
Yeah, get your cell phone.
Yeah. So, you said you wouldn't use Discord. Would you use GroupMe?
I'm already on it.
Okay, sweet. You said.
The issue with using Discord is there is the hassle of having to set up an account, which is a lot for someone who might be taking passive interest in this and isn't like as devoted as to even like attend a meeting like this. And Discord also does have like a very big social stigma outside of like the gamer communities. Because if we say, if we say like, oh, join our Discord, they're gonna think of like, if they get to the high schooler, they're gonna think of the kid who slouched over like this in algebra. or you know, God forbid, they think of the bad things that have gone on Discord, all the grooming, etc. I don't think that's something we want to have associated with our image. If we want to grow this community into like the people that use Dark, the people who use as their daily commute, that might only take like a passive interest in this, we have to pick the most accessible platform. Yeah, and even the bridge, like if someone asks me, oh, what platform do you use? And I say, oh, we use both Discord and Google Meet, they're gonna be like, what? So.
Well, the Discord's not dying. It's just too good. It's
I'm
too
not saying
active.
get rid of the Discord. Yeah, I think that would be stupid.
Okay.
But if we're trying to grow this to the general public, we need the most accessible option. Probably.
I would just say that like whether you're like trying to form ideas on like your Discord, that's fine. I think when it comes to like reaching the general public, using like avenues like Instagram for like class, I'm like, hey, this is what's happening.
Yes.
That's like what's gonna be like the most accessible. I think what we're trying to do is internal group communication.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing both. But
Yeah. But it's like when people are saying like passive members and stuff, they can just go to the Instagram. They don't need to-
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's a really good point because I don't know how much passive member is gonna be. Like, getting in the group, exactly, so they need to watch joining that. Yeah, so.
But I also want to add that I think it's fine to have two, because part of why I'm in that group of, I have Discord on my phone, but I log out because the GroupMe has more people who, and most of the people who use GroupMe tend to have slower and more like deliberate messages, which is easier for me to keep up with because they're all doing it on their phone and they can only type on their phones. Versus Discord, a lot of us nerds on the computer, and then like on Discord, I have to log out because it's ping, 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 and so it's impossible for me to keep up. And so I think ultimately, I think it's fine to have two spheres. Is ultimately we're going to have those two different preferences of there's the people who like having conversations that are slower and easier to like. At the end of the day, they get off work and they check what was said. That's going to be the GroupMe crowd, and there's just no way to get them on the past page or Discord like 100 messages in the last 4 hours. And so, but and conversely, there's some people who prefer that they're fine and they must prefer that, and they're not going to have any patience for the GroupMe slower style. So I think if people are going to naturally fall into two paces of conversation anyways, then having two spaces for different speeds, like having roads and streets, right?
Now you're gonna have to work on the communication. Yes, between the two.
Which is our social media group. Okay. Wrapping this up, anybody have anything to say? I think we're gonna go Discord plus GroupMe for now. And we can build off of that. Okay.
I think that, ultimately GroupMe is good for like, hey, we need to meet for our city council meeting. To say, we can talk about within the GroupMe.
Exactly.
About it. With Discord, hey, I get this great crayon drawing of massive VW transit network.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Agreed. Okay. I like this, so we'll get some of us together about setting up a GroupMe. Probably send out a link on a mail list or something. I don't know how it's gonna work, but GroupMe's good. Discord is also good. Come on down. Good.
And so the information that you're going to distribute will be the same on both of those platforms?
Yes. It would be the same on both of those. Committees who might want to talk could use either or both. And then general public outreach would again be the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter, where people can go and just who have passing just say, oh, this is happening. It's interesting. So yeah. Okay, I'm ready to close that discussion on communications platforms. John, anything? Okay, you do. Oh, the next one. Okay, cool. I think meeting schedule and location. I know we skipped over that one. Yeah, I do too. I think we all have a lot of questions. How often can we get this room, Jason?
Monthly.
Monthly? Okay.
I don't think we can have.
If this is our first meeting, I don't know if it'll like only go up from here or if there's just a lot of energy and it'll die down. Well, ideally, if we grow, this room is not going to cut it.
Park out there.
Yeah. Ideally as well is another thing is we want to not be, there is the good thing that we're always at one place, which makes it easy. Like, okay, there's a set meeting time. We always go here at this time and date. But another thing for more accessibility is we go around to different areas around the DFW Metroplex. For example, maybe next month we go to Irving, for example, or somewhere else. But
Yeah,
that is right. Dallas is central for everyone.
Yeah, but it's probably the easiest to get to because that's just how Dart is right now.
If you have something in Plano, I'd have to go all the way to the loop because silver line isn't finished yet. Yeah.
Well, and I think the point that like, number one, we don't have to meet in person every time. We can do something more like maybe we every other meeting we do it online and every other meeting we do it in person. And then to your point about like where is it easy or accessible? I think one thing I like the idea of, we don't have to always do it in Dallas. What we could do is, we know it's hard to get in the random middle of nowhere in like Plano or Richardson, right? But there's specific places like downtown Garland is surprisingly accessible. City Line is surprisingly accessible. So this group of all groups knows where those hidden gem. I mean, basically the downtown thing, right? Yeah. So I think if we look at those places where, yeah, it's not downtown Dallas, but it's still got a bus line, rail, and GoLink, multiple options. Those would be good places to go.
Oh, great. You used to talk about City Line. There are whole foods over there. Don't they have a?
City Place has a whole thing.
No, City Line.
I walk there all the time, bro.
Do they have like a cafeteria thing upstairs? I wonder if that could be a.
We would
Big ask.
build that up.
Yeah.
We would.
I was gonna say, you know, it's fine.
Phyllis?
Yeah, because I was gonna say, even though there's places for easy to get to, getting a venue, like you mentioned, we've got several blocks. I mean, I don't want to go, but that's several blocks from the state. But if we could get a venue such as this, you know, it's not just, you're not gonna meet outdoors at the station.
I think another thing is like what is going to be the purpose of these in-person meetings going forward? So right now it's kind of like a social, we meet everyone, and we also get the legwork done, right? But for future meetings, are we going to like we gonna host like socials everywhere, for instance, right? But are we gonna have like these more formal meetings? Like if we have a parliamentarian, if we have like executive, so to speak, right? Like if we're handling finances, what is the role of these meetings going to be in the future?
I think generally to just kind of inform everybody formally and have bigger discussions. You know, like this. Yeah.
Yeah, and also there's the social aspect of it. It also acts as a vehicle for growing our coalition and growing our reach, because let's say we need more people in, I don't know, Carrollton or in Addison or wherever. If we meet in Addison or Carrollton or these whatever suburb or place, that becomes an opportunity for us to do outreach and gather more allies in those areas. Because then not only are they able to access it, but then also if I'm hungry after this, you know, I'll happily grab a beer or lunch with anyone after this. And so it becomes that catalyst for outreach, in addition to being a business.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm hearing is maybe just a few of us can like call a meeting for the next one. Just say, hey, we're thinking about meeting in August or something. While we set stuff up. I don't know if setting a regular cadence now would be super great until we have a venue.
I mean, a lot of our meetings will just kind of be like, oh, we got to go to Dallas City Council now.
Yeah.
We're going to do that, then we're going to get dinner after, you know, or before, whatever. So we'll probably meet like pretty often just because of the things we have to do.
Yeah.
Anyways, we might not need a venue all the time.
Be closing thoughts.
I was actually almost doing the opposite. Meeting, having regular cadence works so much. I can schedule around, if we meet every third Saturday, like today, I can schedule around that. But if we meet at random, I'm gonna have all sorts of conflicts.
True. Do we want to set a tentative one for the third Saturday in August and just say, clear your calendars for now and we'll send more info?
Yeah.
I like that. Let me pull it
I think we're going to start finding a venue now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The third Saturday in August would be the 17th. So we can just say, look, your calendar's clear to the 17th if possible. We'll send more info. And you got that. Okay. Now we're getting into the fun part. So we'll let So one more time, that's 17th. Keep your calendar somewhat open if you can.
Do we expect around the same time, around the same location?
Sure. I think the same time for sure. Location. Okay. Now let's get into the topic agenda. So we kind of want to open the discussion more about some strategy. Tell us about what you guys have seen, or what you guys want to do, kind of related to some of these questions. And I'll read them pretty quickly. I think the biggest thing is how do we kind of keep Dallas in line before September, because they have the majority dark wardrobe anyways, pressuring some of the city council. I'd love to hear from some of our Dallas friends first.
I don't know how it is for every single district, but I look at District 15 and already has like bi-weekly, sometimes less than bi-weekly, but they'll have like these different like community outreach meetings. And if they go into a lot of those things that your city council is doing, a lot of the time in my experience, not many people go to those things. So if you go there and say, hey, I heard that you're getting card or expressing your concerns about that, that's a direct need to your city council member when they do these really small things to make sure that they know that there are people who are interested in it.
So Chris, when's the next one of those meetings? And how many people live in District 14? Whoa, okay. How many? But isn't Paul Ridley already against this?
Yeah, he's pretty safe.
Oh, Chris isn't sure.
I don't know if it's safe because if Dallas were to cut the sales tax by 25%, it would do so because it's unreachable and has no other way. And if it were to come between transit and public safety, I don't know if anybody would say I'm pretty
well. In the case of B14, I was at the last town hall, which is in Uptown, and also the board member was there, Carmen. They're safe. Like he's indicated that he's safely broke.
And also alternatives to bullshit pension.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because everyone's concerned about the pension, but really, it's not the type to cut off his hand in order to circulate.
Okay. So does anyone know of any other councilman that hosts bi-weekly meetings like Paul Ridley does?
Where's District 14?
Okay,
yeah.
I should say, since it goes bi-weekly, there has a lot of different meetings that you know, bi-newsletter.
Okay. Does anyone?
Another thing is, I've been calling, before this whole thing hit the fan, I've been calling them over and over again, and been emailing them.
Yeah.
So emailing and calling over and over again.
Yes.
And
Yes.
pressure them.
How many of you have not yet emailed your council person about this? Okay. No shame in it.
But it works.
It
helps.
Of those who have not emailed, how many of you do not know who your council person is? How many you don't know? You live in Richardson's that large. I'll make it more general. Does anyone not know who their councilman is? Okay, okay. Council person, I should say.
I live in District 9.
I want to make a point that
Paul Blackmon.
I'm gonna make the point that I'm working on a tool, and some of you have only got like a sneak peek of this, where you can plug in your address. If you're in any DART member city hall 13, you plug in your street address, and it'll tell you both who your council person is, whether you're Garland or Irving or Carrollton, and their email addresses. So like you just put in one address, it'll spit out their name and contact info, and you just save that to your contact list so that you just always have it.
Is it ready for public use?
It's almost ready.
Oh my god.
Because I've got all the data and I've got the ability to see who your council person is. I just got 5 emails to it, and then
I cannot see when I'm typing, so.
Suburban is, what the heck?
Yes. Where is it?
I will link it up here, and then what I'll do, is what I'm planning to do is like, if you sign the petition, everybody who signed the petition, it lets me broadcast any email I want or message to them. So I'll include, so by the way, like that's part of why I want to be like media outreach, is like everybody who signs up to this petition, if we want to say, hey, thank you for signing up, by the way, here's event or email list or Discord or whatever, we can put that in the communication.
I heard some controversies about change.org. Like I heard like some controversies.
It's not that big of a deal.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Okay, so I like this, calling your council member, talking to your council member, going to meetings, easy strategy. Continue to do so. Yes, sir.
I would also, like what Enrique said, we need to choose a color of shirt. I think for now, since we're just focusing on like the dark spending cuts, we could do yellow. Like just everybody show up in yellow, not Hawaiian.
Yeah.
I mean, it's yellow Hawaiian shirt, but like just show up in yellow. But that's just a suggestion. Like you go with whatever color you want. But like another thing is like if people are worried about public safety. Is like the thing is if you cut public transportation, it means you're gonna have an increase in drunk driving because and we already have too much of that right now. It's like the pollution is going to affect the there's going to be more crashes if there's more people on the road, which affects your insurance. And also the amount of time police officers have to spend dealing with car accidents. Just ask the police how much time they spend on that. They could be doing other things.
Yeah, agreed. And today's our second ozone action day in like 2 weeks. You know, I don't see the trains spinning out.
Yeah, no, it is. It does not. And the thing is, like, if this happens, people will lose their jobs because they will lose their ability to get to work. They will lose their ability to get food, go to the doctor, go to church. Like this just affects everything. Yeah, for a whole bunch of people.
I think hitting worship aspect is really powerful, considering we're in Texas. Something to consider if you have experience.
Sunday service will be the first thing on the chopping block.
Exactly. If you have experience with being in a church or worship, definitely hit that.
You mean Sunday services in rails? I mean, transit service.
I mean, it doesn't have to Sunday service.
Sunday service or Sunday service.
They will have to cut costs of the budget.
So Sunday's gone.
In terms of strategy, I don't know. I think I might have asked about it like a long time ago, but it gets buried on Discord. But like, is there a list of which city council members are like sort of like safe versus not worth it versus?
Yeah, let's go to slide 8.
Bother those that
8?
Yeah,
you're on 14.
But I mean, like, if let's say like I live in District 2, like if
No,
Jesse Moreno's kind of 50-50, then maybe like we
So-
can canvass in his district.
Yeah.
At like a nearby
I actually, in preparation, because I did see that message, I got a list. It goes across multiple slides. What do we know about these council members?
We all know Chad to Chad.
Probably safe.
I know that Richard Jackson is not is definitely in support of cutting cutting DART's funding. He was quoted with saying that the train brings quote unquote trash to the town.
No, that's not that we're talking about that.
So yeah, definitely not doing
Yeah.
So that's gonna be the house.
So what about Jesse Moreno?
Okay, Jesse Milano.
Yeah.
I was at the farm white shooting 2 weeks ago. Dallas covered Car Really and Jesse Milano has farm watch really. And whenever Jesse Milano was talking about this, he had a different plan on this, but there was a problem at the seniors area, a gospel that was selling some stuff, they own buildings, they sell these buildings, will die in the pension plan. So he has a good idea, but he doesn't want to cut.
Yeah.
He's against this.
Good. So Jesse Moreno, we can mark his probably.
Still email him.
Yeah, definitely get his perspective. I feel like
Last
this is
report.
Yeah.
Also, like, still email those that are like we know are safe and those that aren't going to go our way simply because it's a matter of public record.
But I think we should make like an Excel sheet or a Google sheet that says these guys, we have proof that they're good. or not. Yeah. So something to look into, or like building lists of who's on our side and not.
Yeah, I imagine we might want to have different verbiage for thank you for being a supportive guys. I really appreciate it versus I really wish you changed your mind.
Yeah, it's like we're watching you.
Sorry,
So as much as fun as you should also like email and call them there as well.
But Aaron John just spoke like the arts, so it feels awesome.
No, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that.
I'm Ian Siemens. I'm the Dallas City Hall advocate for environment Texas. So I've spoken with a number of city council members, and I think that now is a really great time to inform council staff, especially, and the council members about the benefits of DART. It seems like a lot of council members have not made up their minds yet, which is really great for us that we can get in there, and they just really need a lot of information because they don't have a lot of the data that we think that they should know already.
So do you
we
know
should definitely be
who
informed. Yes.
is safe and who
by chance?
I would not really go out on a limb
Okay.
and say those things right now. But I would say that we should definitely be giving a lot of resources to each of these. And
Okay.
especially if you're in those districts, your comments directly to offices matter a lot. So if we're willing to give them a phone call, especially, that matters so much. Next best thing is an email. That matters a good bit because phone calls and emails to city council members' offices, that is the number one thing that they care about is their constituents calling them up. Good call.
I just wanted to highlight something that you mentioned, which is staff members, because they are the people who are often informing the city council members on what the policy positions they should be taking in their meetings is. So it's really important to contact them as well. And like, for example, Dallas has, each city council member has like their like policy analyst person, also their contact information.
Yeah, those policy analysts are people to talk to because they are the people who have the ear of the council members, and their entire job is just to analyze topics like these, get that data, and figure out what the council members should make a decision.
Yes. By the way, I have the email of the CFO right here. Just because I saw an article where they're saying they were like pro cutting dark to fund the pension. So just if you want to share your thoughts on that,
Be nice.
be nice.
Yes.
Be nice.
Say that Dallas County News would welcome all. And the best way to do it would be to have someone that would be actually representing the group, writing on behalf of the group. They've already published columns supporting the tax cuts. They welcome back all of that support our side.
Agreed. I think there should be somebody on the media outreach who's willing to write like medium and long form content that we can push to like a blog or elsewhere. Okay, awesome.
And let me answer that one.
Yeah, sure.
So when you see an article in the news portal that just started on the news, all local minutes again. That's when you make 200 words. All of you should do.
Yeah, I've done that, and they posted it like 2 days later. So they're hungry for them for sure. One thing, shoot, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, we left the stage. Sorry. Other strategy stuff.
Yeah, so I'm just like kind of creating a list. What other, if anyone who's like knows a lot about Dallas government, just can put together some like staff or policy people we can email.
Yeah, I may have read a post about this, but like maybe also looking at it starting with I forget, like the government and something, council committee, because that's the one that like, Mendelson's on, and then she filed. So it's going to go through some council committee first. And so that would be a good place to kind of try to nip it in the bud a little bit.
Yeah, good call.
So wherever that Reddit post is, I've listed out the members of that.
Transportation.
No, it was whatever. Maybe. I just remember she put that tweet out and she said, I put it on the agenda for whatever that committee was. And so, no, it was a city committee.
Oh, really?
And see if council on the website, you can click each email, each link. This is my district group. They have all their assistants in
Yes.
it.
Yeah, it's pretty easy on the
Yes.
city website to find staff emails. They kind of have to do that. So,
Can
feel
someone
free to-
link that?
I will.
Yeah.
in the back.
Quick question. Do you know how much longer this is gonna go on? I'm not looking for an exit sign.
Yeah.
Councilman Moreno said he would show up.
Oh.
There was not.
We have the room for another hour.
It's 3:30, right?
Okay, I guess we will
Oh,
find
sorry,
out
Jason,
soon.
what's up?
On strategy, I think that religious fact that Wademan, the Plano City Council person, is for lobbyists, needs a little more.
Yes.
Oh.
Maybe
Also,
we-
what that Harold and corporate brand.
Yeah, I said.
Fight against gadget bonds.
Yes.
But I would really focus on like the ability for people to get around, like work their job.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna really, like cities probably lose like revenue like from specific places.
It's because they're regular people. They're regular people trying to do regular things.
And like try to get their stories out. It's like, yeah.
Okay.
Hang on a second. we'll get to you.
Yeah, we'll
You
get
have
to it.
something coming?
Yeah,
So one thing like I noticed a lot in these city council meetings is that a lot of them are voted in because like there are a lot more objections here than we think, especially in the 5 cities that did vote the resolution through. But a lot of them are sort of appeased by the fact that it's a non-binding resolution, right? We just want to explore the possibility of, including more member cities in, like, which I don't think is, I think that's just a talking point, to be fair. I don't think there's any serious plan of that happening. But there's a lot of consideration that it's a non-binding resolution to explore what could happen for transit, right? And so I do think part of the strategy is we need to investigate whether there are any cities who would be potentially open to joining DART if these cuts happen, and just countering this messaging that we're just exploring options right now. You're not getting your DART funding cut. We just want to be fiscally responsible. We just want to figure things out.
Enrique told me that like you don't actually have to have all the data and facts. You can just say I have DART and this is how cuts are. I use DART and this is how cuts will affect me. And he was saying that that's kind of just to protect it. So going through all that effort to contact all these county first and to get their opinion, and we all know they're not going to join it. Yeah. We already know it. I wanted to say, oh, there's so many hands up. But I wanted to say, when we go to strategies, there's 2 things we want to do, I think. 1, get the cities to not vote for this resolution too late. That should have passed for like 5 of them. The other strategy, or the other thing I want to do is, I know, and I need everyone's help here. Can you go back to the strategies slide?
What number?
14. So I know that cities can advocate for certain legislation or for certain legislation. I remember seeing Irving and Plano having, like, in the committee hearing, they sent city staff and there was a city council member there actually talking to the Texas state legislature about why they need to get this DART legislation passed. That legislation died in committee. I think we need to discuss strategies for getting Dallas / all the other cities to be anti whatever legislation Plano's trying to get passed for DART. There's going to be legislation that'll do something. That there's going to be some sort of legislation that will potentially cut DART or make it easier to cut DART's funding. I don't know.
Like Cap Metro?
I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah,
We don't
focus there.
Yeah.
I wanted to add for that. I think language laws that governs farm is for taking action to the market price. And I would be lobbying for that. The DART board is in the process of putting together our sessions and views.
Yeah.
I do think that we lobby for that. DART board of being done. Take any action. It's so obvious, and there's really opposition. That's how simple it is. And I think that legislation would be valuable in choosing one picture that this is not. But second, it begins to take away that it's sort of separate from city stuff that's not going to take it. You can have your stuff, but if you're going to have to try DART, then that's just.
Yeah. So the thing, that's what Carol diagnosed, that's like what Plano diagnosed. That's like the main thing these cities are missing, which a lot of these city council members seem to not know, is that if this goes through, there is no way DART was get significantly worse. A lot of these cities, when we talk, I heard this from Mayor Flood. It's like, it'll be fine. We'll cut 25% of bloat, So pushing and making sure these council members know, because they ever work with trust, that like, if you get less money, it means worse security, it means worse cleaning, it means less and more poorly trained personnel, it means maintenance issues for both trains and buses. So like, if we get less funding, the service is going to get worse. That's going to be bad.
Yeah. So I also like to point out there's they'll say, oh, everything will be fine. There's actually no one has ever presented any evidence that you could cut DART's budget by 25% and everything would be fine. If you ask them for it, I haven't had the chance to. I bet they would not be able to tell you anything.
Like Plato just was gonna do a value study and then they just ignored it and voted it.
But you can't reason with people that didn't reason themselves into your position. You're just gonna have to make it electorally unpalatable for them. Actually, it's been
So, actually, I was in the restaurant, but I was going to talk about this, but council members in suburban cities, like how many votes do you think cast a ballot for a mayor or a council member?
And that's less than 1,000. It's less than 1,000 people.
So in Carrollton, a big one's like 3,000 people voted, 30,000. Here, for example, Councilmember Expert in Carrollton ran against Laura Bowler, and he won by 50 votes. They are very sensitive to individuals coming up and telling them what's going on. They are very receptive. Yeah, so just don't be afraid to get your voice out there. Don't be afraid to contact it. Don't be afraid to badger them. They got all the time.
You can also do comments. Like you don't have to go up there and speak. You can
So,
actually write a
yeah,
comment.
well, and a very quick point to that, I know I've spoken a lot, but on the petition, when you sign it, you put in your zip code. And so if you pull it up very quickly and then scroll to the very bottom, it shows you where the supporters come from. Then as the organizer of this particular petition, you can pass it, scroll back up. I can export the zip codes of where people sign. So for example, you just gave that example, like only 1,000 people voted in Addison. Well, I could show you, as this grows, we could say, hey, there's like hundreds of people in Addison, for example, who signed this. And then we can start to build evidence or the data that says we have grown to this level that you really need to pay attention to us if you want to get good. So just pointing out that that's a data point that we're able to leverage.
Good.
Actually, good.
That kind of reason is not adding to that. You can take it a step further. And right now, to run against council member on this.
If you want to run it, yeah.
You don't have to prove
Let's find somebody.
Yeah.
So I make it sound intimidating to talk to a Dallas City Council member earlier. It is hard to talk to them directly unless Jesse shows up here. That was great. But for
by the
all
way,
of
you said you would have waited if you know it was happening.
So,
We'll get him back.
but if you're in any of the suburbs, all of your council members are probably willing to talk to you anytime. So just send them a message and you can get coffee with them because they do not have nearly as much to do as the Dallas council members.
Oh, yeah.
So I would recommend reaching out to them. Also, if you're like working on an advocacy committee, creating like a quick few talking points, maybe a fact sheet is really useful for people. And DART has created so many great fact sheets like the sustainability report, for instance, that have all of these great numbers that you can bring straight to your council members and tell them like, here's what the effects of DART are on ground level ozone pollution, because that is very important for council members around North Texas right now. We're in severe non-attainment. If they don't remedy that by 2026, then the EPA starts fining them and they stop getting federal highway funding after 2026. So that starts being taken into account for their highway. Yeah, they can tell them, hey, if you cut DART, then just expect to maybe not get highway money, and you will get fines on all of the point source polluters in your cities. So ground level ozone pollution, very important, and DART does not really create nearly as much of it as riding around in your home. Yes, there's points.
Yeah, so fact sheet, anyone who's like a good graphic designer, we need to make a flyer. Yeah, better flyers. So Ara, your stand is up for a while.
Yeah. Should we also participate in elections like the group like?
Oh yeah, we will. For sure.
Yes.
That's next year, May, but yes, for sure. So I guess here's to summarize. The next council meeting sometime in September. I don't think we have the date yet. Does anyone have the date yet? The next Dallas City Council meeting? I went to their website, it was all blank.
Well, it's because they're on recess.
Yeah. So we don't know when the date is.
Michael, do you know?
Okay. Well, we'll get that date. So we're gonna show up that, especially the Dallas people here. Real quick, Enrique, do you know how does it? A lot of people will ask me, it's like, oh, I want to show up to this Irving meeting, but I live in Dallas or something. How is that generally looked on your CV and you don't live? But what if you work? Or if you, let's say, work in Dallas?
It depends on the region. Dallas. Ask for. I don't know if you look at earning it.
Well, he's asking about in Dallas. Like, if you showed up at city council meeting in Dallas.
You're like, hey, I work in downtown, so this affects me. With that,
Sure.
yeah. Okay, so that won't look bad, or no? Okay. So if you commute into Dallas by transit, I guess you can speak.
Yeah, I think what you're looking for is, there is no rule that says you have to live or work in Dallas.
Okay.
And so if you want to have good optics, like if you don't have your mailing address within the city limits, then just start your thing with, I live at this city address and I go into Dallas like 2 or 3 times a week. Or I have family in Dallas, or my girlfriend's in Dallas, or whatever.
So optically, that does not look bad.
It does not look bad.
What looks bad is if somebody.
Yes, that's all that matters.
Your testimony is very important. Don't worry too much like. Don't try to be the expert on the matter of feeling that.
So I'd like to address that very point. I was at the Irving City Council meeting a couple weeks ago, and it might just be specific to Irving, but the mayor of Irving was actually very, for lack of a better word, sassy to the people who didn't live in Irving and smoke.
Even though it was almost all Irving residents. Only like one.
So I can't speak on a general rule, but at least in the specifics of Irving, clearly they value if you live in Irving.
Okay.
But we can use that attitude as ammunition. For sure.
Absolutely.
So I would say don't feel like you have to, right? If you can handle that sort of pressure publicly, yeah, absolutely
right.
sign up. But there's so many other avenues to get involved. I don't think that's the only way.
One last strategy I want to discuss. We need to fact sheets. I hope we can produce that this weekend. I've got stuff we can put down. I just need someone to make it look pretty. Recruiting other people, like writers. Like we could go to like West End and talk to people. Yeah. How do we want to do that? Just flyers, hand out flyers with like the QR codes to join a Facebook group or a group me.
Yeah, I think what you could do is, because I literally did this last night, as we are all using the system naturally, and maybe some of us are more social than others, striking up conversation, you could just quickly just say, hey, you hear the news that they're trying to cut funding for DART? Like, what? Yeah, here's a petition to stop that.
Have you been doing that?
Yeah. Like I did it last night. And I want to have some printouts because I just had it on my phone, and then they scanned my QR code on the phone and they signed it on the train. And so
okay,
that's super effective.
Yeah, John, talk about your experience doing that in Carrollton.
So from my experience, we all in this quiet. And so we were planning on printing it out for the handout. We didn't have enough time. So we just printed Google Form. Email. You already understand it. So I actually went out to canvas, farmers branches out there, filled with communications and people. I walked up there, 40 of us there, from the flower, briefly to what's going on. People with big exercise about it, so I don't do that shit. And I felt like it somewhat went. I kind of wrong. But these I think you really so well because they heard about how we feel out
And by the way, I was at the dartboard meeting, the last dartboard meeting. Everybody saw your flyer. They thought it was me. I was like, no, it's 229. So yeah, you made waves.
Yeah, so, just being out there, being visible, right, that's what you're showing people out there, like, hey, this is going on. It gets people to move.
Yes.
When you get the people, like,
I don't know.
come find them.
Oh, no.
Nice work, Joseph. Thank you. Okay.
So,
Anything on Concom?
hand out flyers or QR codes so people can call council.
And links.
Yeah, QR codes are links.
Probably a website or something that you can Google the organization's name and be able to get to.
A website.
Yeah, whatever your social medias are.
Do we have anyone that knows how to make a simple website?
I can help with that.
Okay,
So there's a couple more things in the agenda, but I think we've got a lot of good stuff to think about.
should we real quick focus on like getting everyone on a group me /Discord email list? But-
Yeah, so I've got everyone's email. Did anybody miss this sheet? We need to-
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Pass around with this.
Yeah, I thought it was that.
I thought it was done by the time it got to me.
Cool. So we're getting that.
Who has it?
There's a black and white competition notebook. So I stole it off of them to use as a clipboard, but it belongs to someone.
I just gonna say FYI, the members of the Dallas City Council Transportation and Infrastructure Committee are Omar Narvaez, and then Gracie, and then Ed Michelson, Sure. So if any of these, if you live in any of those districts, I'll give you the right person to contact your council representative.
Oh, this is a great thing.
As a follow-up, Moreno said August 7th is the first.
August 7th is the first council battle. Okay.
Oh, so should we go to August 7th, even though this stuff will be voted on until September?
Yeah. Yeah. Constant pressure.
Okay.
Constant pressure. I think that's a good idea.
Well, actually, it's a good idea. Just keep in mind that if it's not an agenda, that means you have to do it during their open comments. And you're only able to do that once a month. Like there's a 30-day, like if you do it, what do we do it? So it's still a good idea. So but in case there's other timing thing, then that's something to consider. Otherwise, with no other constraints, it is a good idea. And that's in the morning on a Wednesday.
That's
Yeah,
so irritating.
So that's it. So if you want to do it, you probably have to like plan it in advance, do time or whatever you do. So it's officially the meeting starts at 9. It is the first thing that they do with the public comments. They always start late. I mean, but you have to be at 9. Just be there at 9 to be safest that you don't know how much they'll be late. 9 or 21. Not 9 or 21. AM. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I think it's tough by design, right? Oh, yeah.
I think that part's good, you don't know how long it's gonna take either.
Yeah, that's what makes it very
O'clock,
difficult.
it could be 3.
So you do have to plan on, at a minimum, like your whole morning. And so maybe if you take a half day off work or something, that's the thing. It's tough. But it's tough. Yeah. No, we're still at city council. Oh, well, that's a point. Okay, so that's Wednesday, August 7th. That's city council in particular. Now, if there's a specific council meeting, that could be anything. That might be in the afternoon, that maybe in the evening. It varies.
Okay. Anything else? John, I know you had something else for Carrollton, but just wrapping up like communications, Dallas related stuff. Anything? Cool.
Here, let's just finish this first, real quick for everyone to join this group meeting.
This is a group meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, this is.
Tell me if it works, by the way.
I need to get approved.
Yeah.
Oh, how do I approve people?
You see why we like pending so much? It's
Oh, I did sign the thing. I did sign the paper. Oh, no.
It's okay. It's right there. I just need to do like
put up later.
There
you go.
What is dark?
That's just a,
It's the check for bots.
So do I just spell it?
you can put whatever you want.
Okay.
But Dallas area rapid transit, so I don't think you're a bot. Now, does anyone know how to create channels on GroupMe?
Yes.
Hexel, can I make you an admin?
Sure.
And then can you set up like a channel for Irving, Carrollton, and Dallas for now?
We want to format it the same as the format of Discord.
It's gonna be different because it's not, the Discord was originally meant for transit nerds to talk transit, not for admins.
Do we know what the guidelines are for using the Dart stops? The legal guidelines you have to follow?
It's for like posting stuff on the stops or.
No, it's like the Dart logo. That's
Yeah, don't use it. We realize we shouldn't do that.
We already did, and it didn't work out.
It didn't go well. Yeah.
Farmer French thought we were guard, and I was guard.
Yeah.
It's not true.
You could do dark related Advocacy highway contests. Don't put the logo. As long as you don't put your logo on it, then
What about this group has a logo? Should we
Yeah,
change that?
yeah, that won't, that's no good. You gotta put, yeah, you don't ever use the official one. I mean, rotate it 90 degrees. I don't care.
It's going on. Yeah, so are you thinking about that?
Yeah.
We need to change that picture.
I can make you an admin.
I have a really so you can listen to CFO again. Really.
Chief Financial Officer.
What's next on the agenda?
I think
We
we're,
just have my offer.
what's that?
When we set the request.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, Connor's working on approving.
People need to know about it.
Yeah. Can we
Yes, 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 yes,
On
yes.
that note, we probably should change maybe Discord icon as well.
That's
We could put
probably,
on the logo.
that'll probably be a future thing as well.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, Discord is technically, there's no way people think that's official, right?
Well, maybe not, but we need to, now that we're putting ourselves out there, we need a.
Maybe I'll do add like, I'll modify it.
Clip art, the Dart logo.
I'll make you one.
You can use the Reddit logo, the Dart Reddit logo.
Yeah, we were gonna have to change that.
That's a good placeholder for now. I think whoever, and props to whoever did that subreddit logo. That's pretty clever. I mean, we'll have to think something else long term, but it has too many other logos with it. But it's a good placeholder.
I also created a Facebook group.
Yeah, I made that look at this, but about 2 years ago.
Good job.
It was used everywhere. It was not a good logo. That was a temporary logo. So we've kind of hit a lot of topics. I want to take any user submissions. Oh, any news? Okay. Yeah, back to QR code briefly.
Back to QR code?
Yeah.
Okay, one sec. There you go.
I think we're all I know I need to now. But John, I know you had something. Does anybody else have anything? Okay, cool. Okay, go ahead.
Do we use our real names or?
You can do one. Probably not a bad idea. Yeah.
Mine's an invitation to some other events going on. So Courtney organized the Dallas Feministas, women supporting transit specifically. We're gonna do a social ride the 9 bus from downtown or wherever you pick it up to the new refill shop on Jefferson. And then Big Park essentially. So that's August 7th to 5:30.
Is that group going to mobilize against these cuts too?
It's more of, for us, it's more of a social thing.
Okay, okay.
And then as needed, if there's a call to action, I guess it would come from this group and then the share, spread the word.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, August 7th, and then I also wanted to highlight, the Dallas Bike Coalition is campaigning, Speak Without Driving, national campaign, led by America Walks organization. But, we call it driving September 6th, 30th to October 6th, so that first week of October. And if you have a car, try not to drive it, or, obviously, maybe not, or drive it all, so it's an easy one for y'all. But we're trying to get Dallas and maybe some other cities to recognize that, formally recognize it as Speak Without Driving at City Council. So just look out for that on social.
Yeah, for the local channels, like depending on what district you're in, what if we hosted meet and greets with like local council members?
Yeah.
Yes. We should do that for everyone in Dallas, like as soon as possible. Especially the people who are not sure or will support.
Connor, what's the Facebook page?
I posted it in the group meet. But I can.
Okay.
You got it? Yeah, everyone who has Facebook, join the Facebook page. That's probably what I'm really gonna be pushing.
I think we kind of talked about it before briefly, but I think that we need to, if we're gonna grow as a group, as an organized group, we need to actually maybe if we have like once you figure out who the executive is, the executive work session, figure out, you know, it may be pretty boring and tedious, but at very high level, we need to have some sort of vision statement about what we want. What we, you know, what this division is, what we plan to do, and then we can have priorities and goals that align with it. And that benefits everybody because then we will all be on a unified page of that is going on. So since we're in the early stages, you know, we don't have that kind of figured out yet, but I think that's something that we need to actually kind of decide somewhat soon so that we're all going in the same direction. We understand what the goals and priorities are in relation.
Yeah, good call. Well, no, that's definitely part of our next steps. So if you think about some vision statement stuff, if you guys work in the corporate world, you can add all the fluff too. Something like that. I mean, that's part of my day job is writing the fluff. So, you know, I'll think of some stuff, but we'll keep that open for sure. And then once the committee's solidified, we can start pushing stuff to a vote and say, these are the 4 or 5 things that we're really all about. So, cool. Anything else before that, John?
I just throw it out there. If you're on the group meet, there's now a subtopic for each city. So if you're in a city,
very cool. And where's the paper? The sign in form?
Right here.
Okay, cool. So make sure to grab that before you leave. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. I just want to kind of wrap up this whole meeting. I just wanted to say my personal opinion on what we should do with board for Carrollton. At the meeting, I noticed that the council's being divided on whether or not something should the budget. And I don't think they realize it's implications for them. Yes. I think my personal opinion is if the attorneys would have stayed quiet for a couple more minutes, this whole thing would have failed and not passed. I feel like moving forward, we should immediately open up a way of contact with either this mayor or any of the, or most of the city council. I think that should be step number 1 on the whole thing. Because I want to get to talk with them and kind of get on and one-on-one and sort of see what we can do.
So do we have any like data from DART or anything like that sort of could give us a specific impacts that could result from this cut? Right. So what happened to bus stops?
They have said that no bus would be able to run it higher than a 30-minute headway.
no bus? Is there? Okay, no bus.
That's what they said.
Holy.
Which is like, it's a lot of these bus routes are going to get way overcrowded at that level for sure. But
Oh God. But what I want is there some kind of official like report or something from DART?
not yet.
I think some
Enrique?
kind of hard data would help.
All I have to go on is when I hear, I don't know, you know, say when So it's pretty general. I haven't seen anything that's specific to that, but there's many places, if it were to happen, there is a committee of the board that's needing to ask staff that question. That's not planning. The case, if there is 10%, 5%, but what happened? So I haven't seen specifics. At this point, it's without a doubt, sort of cleanliness, safety, and reliability, the three things that we've been investing in the last couple of years. It's perfect.
Yeah, I think, more specific information you get, the better, is if you just lay it out to council and say, hey, this, what it can be.
I think we should do that as well. So,
My speculation, and it always happens, South Dallas always gets hurt first. South Dallas always gets hurt first.
Yeah.
Always. And if you haven't gone to the dark meeting, you can hear them, because they gave the bus stops away. They're the farthest away the bus stops. Like, I go to Crescent Home every Saturday, Temple on Saturday. Their bus stops almost every corner of the block. South Dallas, we get it. They cut my bus down. 326 bus, cut that down. And now we have midday 308 buses. I have to walk from Akron to CVS. Here's my point. They're gonna hurt South Dallas.
And
And the Cedars.
if you look at
I'd be upset.
I was looking at some federal statistics just recently. You look at, I believe it was from, I want to say the Department of Transportation. I think the year was 2019, 2021. Anyway, recent enough. DFW at large, the use of public transit is at 1.3% out of all workers.
Well, that's DFW. So much of
And then
DFW is not in
Dallas,
the age.
Dallas, it's 3.5%. I mean, it's low. It's already low.
Let's not mention that.
We should have actually, for like 10%.
Well, my point is still crashing. If I cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Something
want
that's already low.
to be zero.
Yeah.
But I also don't like playing into the narrative that no one uses Dart. Like, I don't know. It's like, well, we're trying to get it so more people can.
Yeah.
One thing I changed. Here's one about data. It kind of, you're big enough narrative with me. You can kind of extrapolate the data and you can cut a 25% schedule off of every individual bus route. So you can put that way. You just think about, more about this. Or correct me if I'm wrong, but DART has a lot of debt obligations related to the rail expansion. I think they're going out to 50-year bonds. You can't get rid of them. So those bonds are 50 years. They have a balloon payment on too.
Each city has a different.
Yeah, and they're all like all these individual cities have obligations to pay the bond. DART. So I think when it comes to scheduling, you may have a 25% cut, but then you also have that cut. They have to circle that square between their fixed costs and debt obligations. So you're looking at an even deeper cut than the 25% service capital for. That's why it's perfectly reasonable to expect 30% plus frequency of all bus routes if they do the 25% cut. If you're looking at 50%, possibly like less operating budget. That's just looking outside of big call for that.
I think going back to the point about like South Dallas, it could be useful to just, we sort of, I think some people reached out to different organizations that are like relatively powerful in the area, but like it could be useful to sort of map out which organizations carry a lot of weight. Like if there's like a church a lot of people go to South Dallas or something, maybe I don't know, ask to speak to them, see if you can recruit people from there. And that'll also sort of back to what I think Connor was saying about like Reddit is not the place to get like your average riders to join. If you can find like orgs that are active in the local community, then maybe you can sort of pitch this and then have people join, and then that way their voices are also represented.
Yeah, because Adam Basil-Dua, I think I saw in some council meeting where he was appointing DART board members, he was like kind of saying, remember your obligations to Dallas, because there's some difficult questions we'll have to be answering. Were you there for that? So he represents South Dallas, right? So, so he's kind of South Andy.
A lot of it is more the district 30 kind of.
But I think he has a fair parking.
Yeah, yes.
They got their bar.
Yeah, so his residents are very dependent on her. Like, so the fact that he's even communicating that language is very, very concerning. So
I also want to add to that point. Well, one of the things, where was this guy? Well, so one of you guys did a video that they uploaded it to the petition. I thought it was really good. I wrote out what I wanted to say, but Enrique has pointed out it's very powerful to see like little videos if all you said was, my name is Hexel, I live in Dallas, and I support DART and I'm against cuts to its funding, and then that's it. It's kind of the second little thing. I think it's really powerful because it also adds to that level of, oh, there's like real people who don't want to see this cut. And so if anyone's like, how can I add some more impact to that? I'm gonna be uploading my own to the petition as well, but anybody can record a little video that says, I support DART and against cuts. Just upload that to the petition, and I think it's really powerful to start collecting that in there as well.
Okay.
I also want to just close on my personal thoughts on all this. I feel like the 1% tax rate is not sustainable for the future. I feel like we should support giving cities other ways to fund DART.
Well, can finish.
The problem with that is the state legislature would have to sign off on it.
Yeah.
There's no way they're gonna do that. We had a state senator, Corona, who was proposing just that very thing. And
because like at the end of the day, like places like Carrollton and American and all the other places, people are moving to there because there's full parking downtown, the airport. And I feel at the end of the day, it's a competition between cities to get people they can even move there. I feel like we should advocate for more sustainable way for cities to fund DART other than the 1% thing.
My
later. Yeah, one thing not to forget about the increase. Increase DART's revenue. I was just going to see, that is adding more cities to.
Yes, that
Actually, I'm sorry, number one seat, that's the minutes of Dallas. I was under the 2% high school.
Why?
Happy to lose it though.
Because like the state legislature is getting involved, I did think, well, if Plano's gonna get their representatives to file some anti-DART legislation, likely. What if we could get someone to try to file some pro-DART legislation? I just don't know enough about how state level politics works, but.
All your representatives say like if that bill comes up, lobby against it as hard as you can.
But we have to wait for it to come up, basically.
I mean, you can call, say, like, I support public transit. Basically say, like, could you please, like, file legislation in support of public transit? That's basically it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we start now. I mean, probably want to network with other organizations.
Even if they're,
I mean,
like, the
ideally,
party.
this bill dies in committee and doesn't get voted on. I feel like that's the only way it works out.
I mean, there are other organizations working on different issues that are a lot more active and effective legislators in Austin. They focus on more of the,
Yeah, is anybody else?
I more like the controversial issues you hear about in Texas a lot. So it might be helpful getting some of their help on this.
On the topic of talking to state legislators, as it happens, if you live in Texas House District 114, John Bryant is holding a town hall right now, actually at the Longwood Branch Library. He's holding that till 4 p.m. Then tomorrow, he's holding another town hall from 2:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Dre Hotel in the Village. So that's over off of Route 17. Oh, bus. Sorry, excuse me. So I just wanted to put it out there. So if you're in House District 114, your representative, John Bryant,
is can be talking tomorrow at that town hall in the village.
Also, back to the point on reaching out to representatives as a stakeholder, organization, you can, use that as leverage. One thing, you can reach out to them, set up a meeting. Once you got maybe people who, can handle either the outreach or, execs or leadership, whatever you want to call it, and have them make those meetings with various representatives, or that's, state level, given legislation that could be on the pipeline, or federal reps to help get DART more funding, it needs to keep it afloat. And I know a little bit about that, so I'm happy to help, but
Yeah, and I'll also add that if we wait until something gets filed officially, then we might be too late.
Yeah,
because I've done that, like in 2022, I did that where I was at the Capitol and trying to do like on the floor lobbying. And once they're in session, it's super hard to get an audience with anyone. And so, and what they're thinking about in these committees, like once the session starts, at that point, they're thinking about, okay, what have people told me up until now? And before session starts, that's when they're fine listening. But once session starts, they're closed. Whatever they heard up until that point, that's what they end up voting
Can
on.
we have a state legislation research committee? Because there's just.
Well, I'm just making the point that if you call your representative and you don't know what's filed or whatever, you just say, I support transit, I want more funding, and I'm against cuts. That's all you have to say. And then that gets filed in their memory of, oh, I had X, Y number of people call me, and that's what they.
yeah, they log it. So if they have more of that, more pro transit than anti-transit, then.
And that point,
we'll start getting
it
that.
doesn't matter what the language ends up being, as long as they've logged that X number of people have called in favor of transit, that gets factored in when whatever call.
Yeah. So, do you guys know what your Senate district is? Your Senate district.
I have to look it up every time.
Okay, well, SD 12, Dan Parker is the transportation. He's in the transportation.
Oh, who?
Dan Parker.
Hans?
Yeah. Dan Parker. He's in the transportation committee, and he's like Carrollton and
Even Flower Mountain.
Flower Mountain.
Yeah.
the
West
west
side,
side.
west side.
So that's.
I need to run.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One of those technical things. Feel free to do flyers, canvassing stations and all that and getting stuff right. As we all heard, it just worked for what I did. For Kelton Barnett, I would have decided what we did. I think we should do the same for Dallas in order to get a step ahead of the whole curve and probably just because time is our biggest key.
There we go.
So that's all about it.
There it is. Do we want to adjourn with like a?
Yeah, okay, just last call for anything. I have the last call, but do we want to vote on a day now, just to be done with it? Just as like the culmination of the meeting.
Why don't we just do it on the group?
We can have a call in the group meeting. Poll in the
Yeah,
group meeting.
group meeting.
Fine. Just call it DART advocacy for now.
If the Texas legislature gets involved, do we have to also work with transit advocacy?
It's very possible.
Yeah.
I think, something, we don't want to bite off the issue all at once.
Yes.
But yeah, it's, the solidarity aspect would probably get the deal if that goes any further.
Yeah, we'll convince Dallas to vote against their resolution. Here, actually, Dallas, can you go to slide 3? I think what Dallas is actually doing is voting in September. Go to slide 3.
Is that
You
2?
passed it. That's 2. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, no.
Okay, wait. For the record, we're booing the vote on restructuring DART sales tax contribution. You don't know who's listening.
Yeah. It wasn't the person by default. It was the.
It's because this is the information she presented, so I had to talk. So, they're going to be voting on
City of Dallas.
Yeah, legislative priorities. So we need to make all these cities their legislative priorities to protect dark funding. I think that's what we need to advocate for. Because I assume that cities talk to representatives at the state level a lot.
They do.
So if Dallas is like, hey, we can't let this happen, there's probably a lot of state representatives who represent part of Dallas. So I think in September when this happens, because she said it'll happen in
September, right?
that's what I thought she said. I don't see. Yeah, in September. We need to say that the legislative priority should be to protect transit from the. Maybe we can even frame it like the suburbs. Not all of them. Garland and Richardson are like really cool. But some of the suburbs are trying to cut darks. It's like, hey, no, we need to protect dark funding from the suburbs, but also we want the suburbs on our side. So I don't know if we want to bring it like that.
We want to make sure they have a good dark service too.
Yes, it does. It does. Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready to call it here. Like somebody who has not spoken wants to talk now. Otherwise, we'll see you on. Yeah, hit me. Yeah, I think that's that could be part of it, or at least a function of one of these.
I think help like so put up like the system fact sheet. Or
Further conversation to be had.
Yeah. How long will this meeting last?
We'll decide.
Okay. We get 1, 2, 3, say it dark.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, say it dark.
Anybody else sign this?
But if you really need someone to make that, when you need it.
Yeah.